The blue-skinned alien's face filled the massive screen at Earth's Deep Space Command, her large eyes wide with terror. Captain Hyunwoo Kim watched as the creature's skin flickered with strange patterns of light, like a living lamp trying to send a message through the darkness of space. "Please," the alien whispered, her voice breaking through the static. "If anyone can hear this message, please help us. We are the Zephyrian people and we are dying." Lieutenant Dayun Park sat at her computer, working fast to understand the alien language. Sweat dripped down her face as she typed, trying to make sense of the words that came from a world millions of miles away. The translation program beeped and hummed, slowly turning the alien speech into words humans could understand. "My name is Velanara," the alien continued. "I speak for all the water worlds of our people. For 3,000 years, we have lived in peace beneath the waves of our oceans. We have never hurt anyone. We have never taken what was not ours. But now, they come for us." The screen changed, showing pictures that made everyone in the command center go quiet. Massive black ships, each one bigger than Earth's largest city, hung in space above a beautiful blue planet. Below them, the ocean burned with orange and red flames as the ships fired their weapons down at the underwater cities. "The hegemony," Velanara said, and even through the translation, her voice carried pure fear. "They came to our first world. 6 months ago, they did not want to talk. They did not want to trade. They simply began killing us. They take our people as slaves and strip our worlds of everything valuable. They leave nothing but empty water and floating bodies." Captain Hyunwoo felt his hands formed fists as he watched the images. Small Zephyrian families swam desperately through burning water, trying to reach escape pods. Parents pushed their children into the tiny ships, while staying behind to fight creatures in dark armor that moved through the water like sharks. "We tried to fight back," Velanara continued. "Our weapons were made for protecting our cities from sea monsters, not for fighting an empire that conquers entire star systems. They destroyed our defense platforms in minutes. Our fastest ships cannot run from their hunters. Our strongest shields break like soap bubbles against their guns." Doyoon looked up from her computer screen. "Sir, she's sending us data files. Star maps, information about the enemy ships, records of their attacks on other worlds, to everything they know about this hegemony." The alien's message continued as more terrible images appeared on screen. "We have sent this call to every star system we can reach. We have begged the great powers of the galaxy for help. The Altarian Republic told us they cannot risk war with the hegemony. The Centauri Federation said our worlds are too far away. To defend the other species either cannot help or will not help." Hyunwoo watched as the screen showed empty space where beautiful ocean worlds used to be. The hegemony had not just conquered these places, they had drained them completely, leaving behind dead rocks floating in the darkness. 17 of our colonies are gone," Velanara said, her voice now just a whisper. 3 billion of our people are dead or taken as slaves. The hegemony fleet is heading toward our home world now. In less than 2 weeks, they will arrive, and the Zephyrian people will exist no more. The transmission began to break up, filled with static and strange sounds. Through the noise, they could hear explosions and the sound of Velanara's people crying out in fear. "This is our final message," she said. "If there is anyone out there who believes that innocent people should not die for the greed of others, please help us. We do not ask you to save us all. We know that may be impossible. But if you can save even one of our children, one of our families, then our people will not completely disappear from the universe." The screen went dark for a moment, then showed one last image. A small Zephyrian child, no bigger than a human baby, floated in the water next to what looked like its mother. The child's skin glowed with soft blue light, and its large eyes looked directly at the camera as if it could see through space to Earth itself. "Please," Velanara's voice came one final time. "Do not let them win. Do not let them turn our beautiful worlds into empty graves. If you have children of your own, you understand what we are asking. Help us save ours." The transmission ended, leaving the command center in complete silence. The only sounds were the quiet hum of computers and the soft breathing of the humans who had just watched an entire species beg for its life. Commander. Ji-Hoon Lee was the first to speak. Sir, our computers have analyzed their data. The hegemony fleet has more firepower than our entire navy. This is not a battle we can win. Hien-Woo stared at the dark screen where the alien child's face had been just moments before. Somewhere, in the cold darkness of space, millions of innocent creatures were about to die while their leaders asked the universe for help that would probably never come. Maybe we cannot win, he said quietly. But maybe winning is not the point. Maybe the point is trying. Admiral Sunya Choi stood in the biggest meeting room on Earth. Looking at the faces of world leaders who had gathered to decide humanity's fate, the table was round and made of polished wood, but the discussion happening around it was anything but peaceful. This is madness, said the representative from the European Union, his face red with anger. We are talking about sending our people to die for aliens we have never met, in a war that is not our fight? But they are asking for help, replied the African Coalition speaker, her voice calm but firm. If we ignore their call, what does that make us? Sunya watched the argument go back and forth for hours. Some leaders said Earth should stay out of alien problems. Others said helping was the right thing to do. Few worried that if humanity did nothing, the hegemony might come for Earth next. Admiral Choi, said the President of the Americas, turning. To face her, you have seen the alien data. What do you think our chances are? Sunya stood up slowly. She had spent 3 days studying the information the Zephyrians had sent. The numbers were not good. The hegemony fleet has weapons we do not understand, and shields that can stop anything we can throw at them. Their ships are bigger and faster than ours. In a straight fight, they would destroy us in minutes. And why are we even discussing this? Asked the Asian Federation leader. Because, Sunya said, they are not expecting us to fight smart. They think we are just another weak species that will run away when things get dangerous. It gives us one advantage. Surprise. The room fell quiet. Everyone knew that surprise would not be enough against such a powerful enemy. There is something else, Sunya continued. The Zephyrian message was not just sent to Earth, it was sent to hundreds of worlds across the galaxy. Most of them said no. Some did not even bother to reply. But we are here, talking about helping people we have never met, simply because it is the right thing to do. That means something. 3 hours later, the vote was taken. It was close. 23 countries said yes, 21 said no, and 6 did not vote. But it was enough. The next morning, Sunya stood in Earth's biggest spaceship construction yard, watching hundreds of workers crawl over every available ship like ants on a dropped sandwich. They were welding armor onto cargo ships, mounting weapons on research vessels, and turning passenger liners into troop carriers. Admiral called Captain Dong Hyen Nam as he jogged up to her. The Courage is ready for launch. The Hope will be finished in 6 hours. I have to tell you, most of these ships were never meant for fighting. Sunya nodded. She knew their fleet looked more like a collection of floating junk than a proper navy. The mining ship Perseverance now carried fighter planes instead of ore. The luxury cruise ship Horizon was covered in missile launchers. Even the old space station Unity had been fitted with engines so it could join the fight. How many ships do we have? She asked. 47 that can make the journey, Dong Han replied. But Admiral, only 12 of them are actual warships. The rest are just civilians with guns bolted on. And how many people volunteered to crew them? Dong Hyen smiled for the first time in days. That is the good news. I had to turn away over. 50,000 people. Miners, cargo pilots, scientists, even retired grandmothers. Everyone wants to help. The Discovery is being crewed entirely by university students who studied alien languages. Sunya looked out at the ships being prepared. For a journey, most of them would not survive. Each one was filled with people who had volunteered to risk everything for aliens they had never met. Admiral, came a voice behind her. Major Yoon Ji-han walked up carrying a data pad. We are getting messages from across the galaxy. Their species are ... watching us. What kind of messages? Some are wishing us luck. Others are saying goodbye. The Altarian Republic sent a message calling our mission a noble sacrifice. The Centauri Trade Federation is taking bets on how long we will last. Sunya felt her jaw tighten. How long do they think we will last? The longest bet is 6 hours after we meet the hegemony fleet, Yunji said quietly. Most think we will be destroyed in minutes, well, Sunya said. I guess we will have to prove them wrong. That night, as the fleet prepared for its final launch, Sunya walked through the corridors of her flagship. She stopped to talk with crew members, many of whom were barely old enough to vote. They were scared, she could see it in their eyes, but they were also determined. Admiral asked a young engineer named Biora Kim, "Do you really think we can save them?" Sunya looked at the girl, who was about the same age as her own daughter back on Earth. "I think we are going to try our best, and sometimes that is enough." The next morning, 47 ships left Earth's orbit, heading toward a distant star, a system where an entire species waited to die. Behind them, Earth's people watched and prayed. Ahead of them, the galaxy's most powerful military force prepared to crush what they saw as just another group of primitives. Neither side truly understood what was about to happen when humans went to war. The human ships dropped out of hyperspace and immediately saw hell. 3 enormous black ships hung in the darkness above the beautiful blue planet, each one so big it could have held an entire human city. Below them, the ocean world of the Zephyrians burned with orange fire as the alien attackers rained death from above. "Dear God," whispered Captain Sungmin Park from his ship's bridge. He had been in the Navy for 20 years, but he had never seen anything like this. The planet's surface was covered in flames, and small ships were fleeing in all directions like scared fish trying to escape a shark. Admiral Sunya Choi gripped the arms of her command chair as she watched the destruction. "How many refugees are trying to escape?" she asked. "Hundreds of ships," reported Lieutenant Bei Enho from his communication station. "But the enemy fighters are hunting them down. They are not just attacking military targets, they are trying to kill everyone." Sunya felt her blood turn cold. This was not a war, this was genocide. "Open a channel to the Zephyrian command," she ordered. The face that appeared on the screen was blue-green and covered in scars. The alien's large eyes were filled with exhaustion and despair. "Human vessels, you ... you actually came? I cannot believe it." "This is Admiral Sunya Choi of the Human Expeditionary Fleet," she said. "We received your message asking for help." The alien's throat moved strangely as he tried to speak. "I am Fleet Singer Kraylanth of the Zephyrian Defense Force. Admiral, I am grateful that you came, but you should not have risked your lives. The hegemony fleet is too powerful. They have weapons that can destroy entire cities with one shot." "We have seen what they can do," Sunya replied. "But we are not leaving. Get your people to safety. We will buy you time." Before Kraylanth could answer, another voice cut through the communication channel. This voice was deep and rough, like gravel being crushed under a heavy boot. When it spoke, every human on every ship felt their skin crawl. "Well, well," the voice said with cruel amusement. "The baby species has come to play, soldier. How touching." Sunya's jaw tightened. "Who is this?" "I am War Chief Korthok of the Hegemony 4th Fleet," the voice replied. "I have conquered 40 star systems and enslaved 100 billion creatures. You pathetic humans have barely learned to leave your own solar system. You are nothing but insects pretending to be warriors." The main screen changed to show the speaker. Korthak was tall and covered in black armor that looked like it had been made from the bones of dead animals. His face was pale and cruel, with eyes that seemed to enjoy causing pain. "You will turn around and go home," Korthak continued. "If you do not, I will add your ships to the debris field I am creating around this worthless planet." Sunya stood up from her chair. "This is Admiral Choi of the human fleet. You will stop attacking civilians and leave this system immediately." Korthok's laughter was like the sound of breaking glass. "You dare give me orders? Your entire species is younger than my breakfast. I have burned planets to ash and turned proud warriors into cowering slaves. What makes you think you can challenge me?" "Admiral, Lieutenant Colonel Min Ho Jung reported from the tactical station. The enemy ships are moving toward us, but they are not raising their shields or charging their main weapons. They do not think we are dangerous. Sun Yao looked at her officers. Many of them were young, barely out of training. Their ships were cobbled together from civilian vessels and old military equipment. By every measure that mattered, they were outgunned and outmatched. But there was something in their eyes that the galaxy had not seen in a very long time. It was not fear or desperation. It was the quiet determination of people who had decided that some things were worth dying for. War Chief Korthok Sunya said, her voice calm and steady. Made several mistakes today. First, you assumed we came here to negotiate. Second, you think we care about your reputation. And third, you believe that being bigger and stronger makes you better. Enlighten me, primitive. Korthok sneered. What makes you think your pathetic fleet can stand against the might of the hegemony? Sunya smiled, and it was not a nice smile, because you have never fought humans before. You have conquered species that think like you, that believe might makes right, that the strong should rule the weak. But we are different. We do not fight because we are strong. We fight because we are right. She turned to her crew. All ships prepare for combat. Remember? They think we are weak. They think we will run away when things get difficult. They think we are just another species that will bow down to their superior technology. The bridge fell silent except for the sound of weapons systems powering up and shields activating. Let's show them what happens when they threaten innocent people in front of humans, Sunya said quietly. Let's show them what we do to bullies. On his command ship, Korthok watched the primitive human vessels form into attack formation. Their ships were small and crude, their weapons were basic, and their tactics were simple. This would be over in minutes. He had no idea that he was about to witness the birth of humanity's reputation as the galaxy's most dangerous species. The first shots from the hegemony ships cut through space like lightning, hitting the human fleet. With weapons that could melt steel in seconds, the human ship Braveheart exploded in a ball of fire, taking all 100 crew members with it. The New Dawn lost its engine and began spinning helplessly through space. War Chief Korthok watched from his command bridge and smiled. This was going exactly as he expected. The primitive humans were dying quickly, their weak shields failing against superior hegemony technology. Pitiful, he said to his officers. These creatures fight like wild animals. No discipline, no real tactics. We will finish them in minutes and return to harvesting the fish people. But something strange began to happen. Instead of running away like most species did when they started losing, the human ships moved closer to the hegemony fleet. They flew in patterns that made no sense, taking terrible damage, but never breaking formation. Sir reported his tactical. Officer, one of the human ships is flying directly at us. It appears to be on a collision course. Korthok laughed. Possible. No commander would sacrifice an entire ship just to damage one of ours. These primitives are confused and panicking. The human ship's sacrifice smashed into the side of a hegemony battleship at full speed. The explosion was so bright it lit up half the solar system. When the light faded, the hegemony ship was still there, but its weapons were destroyed, and atmosphere was leaking from huge holes in its hull. This is Captain Jae-Soon Kim of the Sacrifice, came a voice over the radio. As the human ship died, tell my wife I love her, and tell the galaxy that humans do not surrender. Korthok felt something cold touch his heart. These creatures had just destroyed one of his ships by ramming it with their own vessel. What kind of species fought like that? War Chief called his weapons officer. The human vessels are releasing some kind of devices. They appear to be ... nuclear weapons. Space around the hegemony fleet suddenly erupted in atomic fire. Hundreds of small nuclear bombs exploded at the same time, creating a wall of radioactive flame that damaged shields and blinded sensors. The humans had been quietly placing these weapons, while Korthok had been focused on the ship-to-ship fighting. Barbarians. Korthok roared. What civilized species uses nuclear weapons in space combat? His answer came from a damaged human fighter that was spinning out of control. The kind that remembers what happens to people who give up, said Major Yansu Lee, her voice calm even as her ship was breaking apart. The kind that knows evil only wins when good people do nothing. The human ships began working together in ways that confused the hegemony commanders. They shared information instantly, moved as one giant organism. and adapted to new situations faster than any species Korthok had ever fought. When his computer started failing, he realized with growing horror that the humans had somehow gotten into his ship's systems. "How is this possible?" he demanded. "Our networks are protected by the best security in the galaxy." "Nothing is impossible if you are willing to die for it," came Admiral Sunya Choi's voice over the communication system. "And we are very willing to die for this." The tide of battle turned when the human ships stopped fighting like a traditional navy and started fighting like a pack of wolves. They surrounded individual hegemony vessels, attacked from all sides at once, and used their smaller size to move in ways the big alien ships could not follow. The human ship, Determination, flew directly under a hegemony cruiser and fired all its weapons at point-blank range into the alien ship's unprotected belly. The Courage used its mining lasers to cut through enemy armor like a hot knife through butter. The converted passenger ship Hope launched fighter planes that swarmed over the hegemony vessels like angry insects. "This is not how space battles are supposed to work," Korthok shouted as he watched his fleet being torn apart by creatures he had dismissed as primitives. "You are right," came Admiral Choi's voice. "This is not a space battle. It's as humans protecting innocent people from monsters, and we are very good at killing monsters." The end came when the human flagship Indomitable broke through the hegemony defense line. The ship was dying, its hull torn open, and crew members fighting fires in corridors filled with poisonous smoke. But it kept flying toward Korthok's command ship like a missile aimed at the heart of evil. "Admiral," called Captain Hyun-woo Kim over the radio, "our ship is finished. But we can take their leader with us." "Do it," Admiral Choi replied. "For the Zephyrians. For everyone who cannot fight back." The Indomitable crashed into Korthok's ship at full speed. Both vessels vanished in a ball of light brighter than the system's sun. The explosion was so powerful it could be seen from planets billions of miles away. When the light faded, the hegemony Fourth Fleet was gone. 17 ships that had conquered 40 worlds destroyed by a ragtag human fleet that everyone had expected to lose in minutes. In the silence that followed, only 11 human ships remained. Most were badly damaged, their crews wounded and exhausted. But they had done the impossible. They had defeated the galaxy's most feared military force. The universe would never be the same. Fleet Singer Kralenth floated in the command center of his refugee ship, staring at the empty space where moments before the greatest battle in Zephyrian history had taken place. Around him, the scattered remains of hegemony warships drifted like dead metal fish, their hulls cracked and burned. "Beyond recognition, how many?" he asked quietly, his voice barely above a whisper. 11 human ships survived out of 47, reported his aide, her skin flickering with patterns of grief and amazement. "Most are badly damaged, many of their crew members are injured or dead." Kralen's throat sacs fluttered with emotion he could not name. These strange creatures from a distant world had sacrificed themselves to save people they had never met. No species in the galaxy had ever done such a thing. "Open a channel to the human fleet commander," he said. The face that appeared on screen was tired and covered in soot. Captain Hyojin Essio looked like she had been through a war, which she had. Behind her, Kralenth could see human crew members, working to repair their damaged ship. "Fleet Singer," she said, her voice steady despite her exhaustion. "Are your people safe?" "Thanks to you, yes," Kralenth replied. "Captain, your Admiral Choi and her crew saved our entire species. We owe you a debt we can never repay." Captain Seo shook her head. "You do not owe us anything. We came here because it was the right thing to do. That is what humans do." "But so many of your people died for us," Kralenth said. "How can we ever thank you by living?" Seo said simply. "By teaching your children about freedom? By remembering that bullies can be beaten if good people stand together?" Within hours, news of the battle spread across the galaxy, faster than light itself. On 1,000 worlds, beings who had never heard of humans suddenly knew their name. The species that had been dismissed as primitive had just destroyed the hegemony's most powerful fleet. On the hegemony homeworld, emergency meetings were held in dark rooms filled with frightened leaders. War Chief Korthok had been their best. Commander and his fleet had been their strongest. If humans could defeat him, what else might they be capable of? Send a message to all our forces, ordered the Hegemony High Command. Humans are now classified as a class of threat. All operations in their territory are suspended until further notice. But the real change happened on the worlds the Hegemony had conquered. On the mining planet Zarian, slaves who had worked in darkness for 50 years suddenly stopped their digging and looked up at the sky. On the factory world, Mordock workers who had been beaten into submission began talking in whispers. About hope. Did you hear? Asked a young Altarian slave to his cellmate. The humans came. They actually came. What humans? The older prisoner replied. The ones who destroyed the Fourth Fleet. They traveled across the galaxy to save people they had never met. If they can do that, maybe we can fight back too. Within weeks, rebellions began sprouting across the Hegemony Empire like flowers after rain. Species that had been crushed for generations suddenly remembered what it felt like to be free. They had seen that the Hegemony could be defeated, and they wanted to try. On Earth, the victory was celebrated with tears and cheers in equal measure. Every city had parades for the heroes who had not come home. Every school had assemblies too. Remember the brave people who had died for strangers in a distant star system? President Woo Jin Kim stood before the United Earth Assembly, holding a message that had arrived from the Zephyrian homeworld. To our human friends, he read aloud, "We offer you everything we have. Our technology, our knowledge, our friendship, and our protection. You fought for us when no one else would. Now we fight for you." But the message that changed everything came from an unexpected source. The Galactic Council, a group of the oldest and most powerful species in the universe, sent their first official communication to Earth. To the humans of Earth, the message began, "We have watched your species for many years. We thought you were young and foolish. We thought you would learn to be quiet and obedient like so many others. We were wrong." The message continued, "You have shown the galaxy something it had forgotten. You have shown us that some things are worth dying for. You have reminded us that the strong have a duty to protect the weak. Because of this, we invite you to join the Galactic Council as full members." President Kim looked out at the assembly hall, where representatives from every nation on Earth sat in stunned silence. "The galaxy now knows 3 things about humanity," he said. "First, we keep our promises. Second, we protect the innocent. And third, we never, ever give up." He paused, looking at the wall where the names of the fallen were carved in marble. "But most importantly, they know that we are not conquerors.
Yes.
We are guardians, and we will guard anyone who needs our help." The Zephyrian distress call had been desperate, and Earth's answer had been devastating. Devastating to anyone who thought they could hurt innocent people while humans were watching. The galaxy had learned that there were still species willing to fight for what was right, no matter the cost, and the universe was better for it.